Hey, what's up, Good Life? Thanks for joining me for today's 128 moment. Today, I want to remind all of us of 3 different ways that we can live out our roles in the family business. But before I get to those reminders, I just want to quickly review what we talked about last Sunday. Hopefully, you were able to join us, whether online or in person, as we concluded our family sermon series, as we did a deep dive into the Great Commission to really see what it means to be His people living for His purpose. Now, if you weren't able to join us, whether in person or online, I encourage you to please make a point to watch that sermon. I believe it's going to be important for the future of our church family. And within that Great Commission that we walked through on Sunday, Jesus calls His followers to go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them and teaching them to obey everything that He commanded. And we saw by walking through that, like word by word, we saw that living out the Great Commission, we do that by focusing our lives on making disciples of all people groups, of our neighbors and all the nations. And there are currently 500,000 people in our local area that aren't connected to a church. And not just locally, but globally, there are 3 billion people who are living in unreached people groups. Most of them within what we talked about as the 1040 window. People who have little to no access to the good news of Jesus Christ. So in the Great Commission, God calls all of His children to play their roles in the family business of making Christ known to our neighbors locally, but also to the nations globally. So what can we do? What do we do to do our roles in the family business? Well, our roles could be a lot of things. First is sharers, those who love enough to share the good news and share their lives as well with their neighbors and the nations. We do that as a part of the local Good Life Church family. We could have a role as welcomers, those who reach out to share their lives and the good news with the nations who come near to us. We could be mobilizers, those who connect God's people to God's purposes for reaching the nations. We could be goers, those that God calls to go to the nations and establish churches and in people groups where no church yet exists. We could also be senders, those who partner in various ways with those who are going to the nations. And when you give to Good Life, as we said on Sunday, you're helping to send missionaries to unreached people groups. We'll talk more about that in a second. You could also be an intercessor, those who stand in the gap by praying for unreached people groups and for the Lord to send workers into the harvest to reach them with the good news. Now, these roles, they take the idea, the commission of global missions, and it takes it from something that a select group of missionaries does to something that everyone in the local church has a part to play in, reaching the nations with the good news. We go from being passive observers of missions to being active participants in the family business. So today, I want to remind you of 3 ways you can live out your role in that family business. First is this: you can be an intercessor. Download the Joshua Project app and take time each day to pray for unreached people groups. Today within the app, we're praying for the Swahili people in the Democratic Republic of Congo. There are 55,000 people within this group and they have little to no access to the gospel. So let's take time to intercede for those people, for God to send workers into the harvest to share the good news with this unreached people group. The second way is this: as senders, participating members of a sending church, we can stand with those missionaries that we are helping to send. We have 2 different missionary couples who are reaching unreached people groups in Southeast Asia. We can't say exactly where they are. We know where they are, but we can't say exactly where they are because they're closed off countries. But we're collecting items to send care packages to encourage them and to give them just a little bit of taste of home. So between now and May 8, we're collecting the following items to send to them: kids books, Paw Patrol and Bible story books, girl baby clothes, because one of them has an infant baby girl, some food, taco and ranch seasoning, Chick-fil-A sauce and Reese's cups. These are great people. And also a Gatorade and Propel drink powder. You can drop those items off in the lobby on Sunday and we'll make sure it gets to those families. The third thing is, as a sharer, you can generously invest in Good Life. This Sunday, May 1, we're inviting our church family to turn in their project pledge cards, letting us know how you will participate in our renovation project by praying, by serving to complete the project or on a serve team, or by giving above and beyond your normal giving to help reach our goal of $41,000. Please prayerfully consider how the Lord would have you participate in this project and invest in our church family so that we can not just make room for more people to hear the good news and share life, but so we can rally our church family, both current and future, to all play their roles in the family business. Join us this Sunday too as we begin a new series that we're calling Stand Firm in Uncertain Times, a study through the books of 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. And through this ancient letter from Paul to the church at Thessalonica, we can see how the Lord would have us live in these uncertain and unsettling times. We'll be at the church 9:30 and 11. We'll be online at 11 as well. And until then, let's be a people who will love enough.